Whenever you're ready, Council President.
I'd like to call the regular meeting of council to order for August the 22nd. Ms. Cosgrove, can you read the opening statement?
Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, I hereby announce that adequate notice of this meeting, as required by said act, has been provided by adopting a schedule of regular meetings for the year 2023, which schedule is posted on the Borough Hall Bulletin Board, as well as the Borough website, and forwarded to both the South Jersey Times and the Sentinel of Gloucester County, filed with the Borough Clerk on January 7th, 2023.
Please stand for the salute of the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we will have the, roll call.
Mr. Casavone?
Present.
Mr. D'Alessandro?
Here.
Mr. Fiola?
Here.
Mr. Halter?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Here.
Mrs. Spence?
Here.
Mr. Melandro?
Here.
Mr. Scafidi?
Here.
Mr. Brunemer?
Here.
And let the record reflect that Mayor Wallace is excused for this evening.
At this time, we will have the oath of office for Sergeant Kenneth Barbagley. I state your name.
I, Kenneth Barbagley Jr.,
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
You gotta break that up.
Of the United States.
States.
And the Constitution of the State of New
Of the
Jersey.
State of New Jersey.
That I will bear true faith
That I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same.
and allegiance to the same.
And to the governments established in the United States
And to the governments established in the United States
and in this state.
and in this state.
Under the authority of the people.
Under the authority of the people.
And I will faithfully,
And I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of the office
all the duties of the office
of Sergeant for the Glassboro Police Department,
of Sergeant for the Glassboro Police Department,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Is it with all of us too, or do you wanna do both? Okay. I'll do.
Just a family?
Thank you. Where's your mom? Congratulations.
get it, we'll get it.
Thank you. That concludes the ceremonial portion of this evening. If you would like to stay, we welcome you. If you decide to leave, we will not be offended. At this time, we will have a public hearing. I'll turn it over to our solicitor.
Yes, thank you, Council President. Tonight we have a public hearing on ordinance number 23-17. That's an ordinance amending chapter 107, Development Regulations and Zoning, Article 10, Stormwater Control, by adding a new Article XA 10A to be entitled Privately Owned Salt Storage, if council moves for the public portion.
So moved, I'll move the public portion to you.
Second.
All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Anyone against? The meeting is now open to the public for this particular ordinance.
That's on the ordinance? On the ordinance.
Just on this ordinance that we just spoke on.
There'll be a separate part for public comment.
Seeing no one to comment on this ordinance, I declare we should declare this in public.
Second.
Motion carried.
Roll call.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Casabon?
Yes.
Mr. D'Alessandro?
4.
Mr. Fiola?
4.
Mr. Halter?
4.
Ms. Miller?
4.
Mrs. Spence?
Yes.
And I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of July 25th, as well as the closed executive session of July 25th, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
It has been properly, any abstentions?
I abstain on the meeting of July 25th.
It has been properly moved and second with the abstention of Councilman Casabon. I'm sorry.
No,
No,
you don't
it's not a
have-
roll call.
Okay.
All right.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone against? Okay, motion carries. Okay. Any communications? Ms.
Yes, ma'am.
Casserole?
I have a letter of retirement for Marie Dawn DeFrancisco. She's court administrator for the Borough of Glassboro. Her last day will be August 31st.
Make a motion to accept the letter of retirement.
With regrets, second.
Do I have a motion?
Motion and a second.
Motion and a second? Okay. All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any against? The motion carries. We'll move on to committee reports. Usually this is where I start. I'll give a report for our Park and Recreation Department. We currently are in the process of completing our new turf field down at the South Delsey Drive Park. That should be completed soon and open for use. We also recently opened the new community center, the Martin Luther King Center on Academy Street in Glassboro. Information for rental is up on the Glassboro Park and Recreation website for those that are interested. And now I will ask Mr. Fiola, do you have anything to report for
You
the
have
department?
finance, I have nothing at this time.
Okay. Mr. D'Alessandro?
Council President, I have nothing at this time.
Okay. Mr. Halter?
I have nothing at this time.
Mr. Casabon?
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President, Council President.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I am in receipt of the police department's report for the month of July. Sorry, Mrs.
Ms. Spence, do you have anything to report?
No, I don't, Council President, thank you.
Okay. Any new business?
Yes, Council President. I am looking for approval to purchase a CAT 306 CR mini excavator under Sourcewell National Co-op. And I am also asking for approval to go out to bid for a 2023 or newer Chevrolet 2500 Series Double Cab or Crew Cab with utility body or equal.
I'll make a motion to go out to bid.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any abstentions? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
It's been properly moved in second. Okay. I'm sorry.
I also need approval for a blue light permit application for Ramsey Malik of Rowan University EMS.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Any against? Motion carries. Any unfinished business?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I'm sorry? Nothing to report on behalf of the mayor. I'm filling in. Okay, at this time, we will have the engineer's report by Mark.
Just a brief update, the townhouses out at Camelot are underway in section 1, phase 3. That work's continuing there. They're running Atlantic City Electric through the rest of the development, so that'll be coming up shortly thereafter for the rest of the buildings and also the streetlights. The project right across the street, next to Richford Crossings, they're very close to getting their building permits to proceed with the townhouses at that location. The townhouses will each be different sizes. Each side of the street will be different sized townhouses for those. High Street project down as you go towards Williamstown, there'll be final paving phase 1 tomorrow. It's just a street. They still have bonds. We still have to do a walkthrough for those. And they're targeting to try to get all their units completed by the end of this year. So they have 2 buildings left to get started down there with those. Park Avenue Pump Station, the generator finally came in. We finally got that after about 15 months waiting for that. So that's in place, and their contract electrician is wiring that up and getting that set up into the control panel, so that'll be operational in the near future. Landfill, everybody's seen that, the solar panels have been going up for several weeks now, so that's continuing, and anticipated that'll be online by the end of the year for those. This year's expansion over on Ellis Street, that's nearly complete. They're looking for the TCO at the end of this week so they can start operating out of their 60,000 square foot building addition for that area there. The storage building for the old Lysios is, as everyone can see from Delsey Drive, is being in the middle of demo. So all the parking lot that was in front of the building is now going to be building. So that'll all be self-contained storage inside of that. The South Delsey Drive complex, as Council President alluded to, the turf is in, everything's on, logo's down, all the numbers are in, and they're putting the infill mix and everything else into the turf now. That'll take you this week and a little bit into next week, so they'll be cleaning up after that. Public Works and Grounds are working on that. They will finish up the concrete pours for the bleachers to get those back in place, and then finishing up the bituminous walkway around that. So in the next several weeks, that'll be ready to go. So we're waiting for a date for the contractor's completion, so we'll pass that on to everyone for that event. They're right now, they're pretty much on schedule, maybe a week ahead of schedule, so everything worked out pretty well with weather with those. And the Burger King, as everybody can see, they're site contractors doing very good work getting that completed up along with the building. So they don't have a date of when they're going to be open yet, but they're still moving that project quickly.
Does anyone have any questions for Mark? Thank you, Mark.
Thanks.
And now I will turn it over to our solicitor.
Yes, thank you, Council President. On our agenda, this consent agenda tonight, we have the following resolutions, beginning with 254, resolution providing for the insertion of a special item revenue in the budget pursuant to NJSA 48487. Resolution 255, authorizing purchase of 2024 All-Star XL 32-foot bus for the Borough of Glassboro Senior Center to create a Bus Sales Inc. under a National Cooperative Purchasing Program, Houston Galveston Area Council, HGAC. Resolution 256, resolution appointing Sonia Lopez as alternate number 2 to the Glassboro Board of Health in the Borough of Glassboro. Resolution 257, appointing Roxanne G. Jones as member of the Martin Luther King Center Advisory Board. Resolution 258, appointing Gwendolyn Diane Rowland as member of the Martin Luther King Center Advisory Board. Resolution 259, resolution of the Borough of Glassboro, Gloucester County, authorizing execution of a commodity resale agreement with the County of Gloucester. Resolution 260, authorizing release of safety and stabilization guarantee for College Town Shopping Center, Block 402, lots 1414.02, in the amount of $33,365.65 upon the posting of the required maintenance bond for the Borough of Glassboro, KR College Town, LLC, care of Brixmore Property Group. Resolution 261, authorizing purchase of permit and blueprint scanning services for the Borough of Glassboro Code Enforcement Office to AccuScan under a National Cooperative Purchasing Program, Educational Services Commission of New Jersey, ESCNJ. Resolution 262, authorizing the award of a non-fair and open contract for in-rem foreclosure legal services for the Borough of Glassboro, Keith A. Bonci Esquire. Resolution 263, authorizing execution of the memorandum of understanding between Rowan University and the Borough of Glassboro. Resolution 264, authorizing award of contract for holiday tree and tree topper for the Borough of Glassboro, Riley Outdoor LLC. Resolution 265, resolution of the Borough of Glassboro, Gloucester County, appointing conditional redeveloper and authorizing execution of a memorandum of understanding. Excuse me, they are resolutions this evening on our consent agenda. Also for the purposes noted under each resolution, council so moves for approval. Roll call vote.
Move for approval.
Second.
Any abstentions?
Yes, Council President, extension of 259-23. Everything else is good.
Okay. I have a motion and a second, with one abstention, a roll call vote.
Mr. Casabon,
Yes.
Mr. Delisandro,
I'm for, but I'm against, 2523, 2255-23, and abstain from 259-23. Everything else,
Mr. Fiola,
for.
Mr. Halter,
Four.
Ms. Miller,
Four.
Mrs. Spence.
4, except for my abstention near the 259-23.
Next, we have the introductions of ordinances this evening. I'll read all of them first. The motion will be to introduce the three of them that are listed. One has been tabled tonight, beginning with ordinance 2318, an ordinance amending chapter 101, Police Department, Part 2, Rules and Regulations, Article 2, Chapter 3, Rules of Conduct, Section 3.8, Uniforms, Appearance and Identification, Subsection 3.8.6, Personal Appearance, Ordinance 23-19, an ordinance amending Chapter 445, Vehicles and Traffic by creating a new article to be entitled Paid Parking Zones. Ordinance 2320 is being tabled, and the final ordinance to be introduced tonight is Ordinance 2321, an ordinance amending Chapter 445, Vehicles and Traffic, Section 2, No Parking Certain Streets, Subpart F, Schedule I, No Parking of the Code of Borough of Glassboro. There are the three ordinances for introduction tonight. If council so moves for approval, roll call vote.
Move to approve?
Second.
Any abstentions? I have a motion and a second, roll call vote.
Mr. Casabon.
Yes.
Mr. Delisandro.
For.
Mr. Fiola.
For.
Mr. Halter.
Four.
Ms. Miller.
Four.
Mrs. Spence.
Yes.
At this time, we will open up to the public portion. Motion to open the meeting to the public.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
For. Aye.
Any against? The meeting is now open to the public.
For those members in the public who might wish to speak tonight, when you come forward, would you please identify yourself for the record, name, place of residence or business, and also note that there is a 5-minute limitation per speaker and other rules and regulations as outlined on the agenda. Thank you.
Good evening, Council, and I thank you for this opportunity to speak.
Your name, I'm sorry.
My name is Willie King. I'm a resident on 328 McClellan Avenue, Glassboro. I come to speak about what's happening to my neighborhood. The demographic of my neighborhood is changing dramatically. I've been there 40 years in the same house. Never had an issue, never had a problem. At 333 McClellan Avenue, the state sent out letters about 15 years ago that said they were gonna open up a group home in that block at 333. That's the old Bob Barrett home. When he passed, his wife sold it to, I guess, the state. And that place has been there since then, since that point. My point is, the state sent out letters and asked us if there was any problem, fill out a survey and send it back. Do we have any questions on it? They notified us what was gonna happen. Now, between McClellan Avenue and Overbrook Avenue and Alfred, there are 9 different group homes, flop houses, whatever you wanna call them. Right across from me at 325 McClellan Avenue, they said that they're gonna open up a sober house. That's directly in front of my house. I can sit in my kitchen and look out the window and see the stoop. So much for a sober house, because I'm looking out of my dining room window and I see the guy sitting on the step smoking marijuana. That's not a sober house. You don't do that for a sober house. How you gonna help somebody in a sober house and the people that's taking care of the sober house are smoking marijuana? I got a problem with that. And I got a problem with the elements that's gonna bring in, because if that's the attitude, that's no longer a safe environment for my wife and my neighbors on McClellan and Overbrook Avenue. Like I said, 333, the State House, no problem. 325, they changed that house from a 5-bedroom to a 7-bedroom home. And it's disgraceful, I'm serious. And on Overbrook, the same people that owns this house on Overbrook, the neighbors call it the Newsom House. That's 321 Overbrook Avenue. And you can look at the police records. I know there have been numerous of calls to that house, and over and over and over again. And it's getting to the point now, like I said, the demographics of my neighborhood has changed, and it's still changing because the investors are buying up their homes and they're changing them into what they call flop houses. That's what they are. Between, like I said, between McClellan, Overbrook, and Alfred Avenue, there are 9 between the college kids' houses that they have. Right on McClellan Avenue, just on McClellan Avenue, there are 5 different college spots on that street. And I'm parking yesterday. This just happened yesterday. I'm backing into my driveway. There are a college kid between the driveway and my car, and I'm turning to go in. No patience. They're not good neighbors. I'm sorry. That is a disgrace. And now it's becoming unsafe, for the kids. They treat McClellan Avenue like it's an Indianapolis Raceway, and that shouldn't be. When I first moved in that area, I'm talking 40 years ago, there are kids now that have their own family, playing football in the street and that kind of stuff, and, just throwing the ball around. You can't do that anymore. You do that, you're liable to get run over. Seriously. And it's getting to be a dangerous place. Speed bumps won't get it. What we need to do is get to the root of the problem. Find out, I just don't understand how these people get to bring that element into a family-oriented neighborhood with no licenses, no whatever. Just move in and just turn it into what they want to turn it into. That's not a good environment for our neighbors and for our people in that neighborhood. We're tax-paying citizens just like anybody else. And we just trying to figure out what can we do and what can you guys do to help us to resolve these issues, because there is a problem and it's going to get worse. It's not going to get better, because over the years, like I said, I have seen it, and it's getting to the point now where it's getting to be ridiculous, and we need to do something about that. So I'm asking the borough to help the residents of Overbrook and McClellan Avenue with this issue that we have. And I think my neighbors are all here. They're here for a reason, because their homes and their safety and their environment is being invaded. That's what I feel like. We're being invaded, and we have no say in it. So we're reaching out to council for help. We need help right now, and they're moving in as we speak. So I mean, we just want answers.
So I can give you some information on 325 McKellen. First of all, they don't even need to notify us, and the solicitor will correct me where I go wrong, that it is a group home. They don't need to, and if it becomes a sober home, the state takes over jurisdiction of the sober home. And if they don't tell us, we'll never know. So I will tell you about 325, and if I say anything that I'm not allowed to say, you'll reel me in. The only reason we found out it was a group home, and I'm very familiar with Overbrook, because I was there with the police officers and probably got about, to your point, 50 calls, and I'm the administrator. It was every day, and I became first name basis with the resident next door. So it was, the reason we knew it was a group home, when it's a group home, the fire inspector has to go out and inspect it. That's the only way, and that's the only thing they need to do. They don't need to do anything. It's not a sober home at this point. I actually found out it's not even a group home at this point. It's not even a group home. There are, what they have right now on the lease, because we went and looked this up to try to help you, there's two people's names on the lease. There's two tenants on the lease, both over 30 years old. Per the landlord, it's not a group home or a sober home. What we did with Overbrook, I haven't heard from them in quite some time, I'm sure there's problems. With Overbrook, there was in particular one person in there who was, we were being called 90% of the time, it was because of this one person. We hammered the DCA?
Development Disabilities State.
We just kept going after them, calling them every day. They don't have, I don't have any this governing body has no jurisdiction over them. We just tried to become a thorn in their side until that person was moved. So the only thing I can say, and you'll correct me again, solicitor, if there's problems, let us know. I'll give you my phone number. Let me know. Call me. We'll make charts of it, and we will go after them the way we did on Overbrook. Tim, you could elaborate on the lack of jurisdiction that we have on these properties. I'm as frustrated as you are. I'm as frustrated. There's a three-bedroom home over on Williamsburg Court. Like you said, they took the dining room and they took the family room and made it a 5-bedroom. You know what they're asking for that home? $500,000. $500,000. And if you're getting $700, $800 a bed, you're almost, as an investor, making a 10% return on your money right away. I think this whole governing body that's what's going on. And we've been to court, we've lost several times. So I'm sorry, I went off because I'm just as frustrated as you are, but Tim, if you could talk about the group home, please?
Yeah, no, it's a frustrating answer even as a lawyer, but Glassboro itself is the case. It's called Valorosi versus the Borough of Glassboro, decided by the New Jersey Supreme Court in 1990, believe it or not, that says that a group of individuals living together, which can be college kids, because that's who were living on, they were living on Normal Boulevard at the time, constitutes a family unit. And as a family unit, we cannot prohibit them from living in a single-family residential home as a family unit. And that is still the law. It's still the law cited throughout the state of New Jersey. So what that does, unfortunately for us, is we're not able to legally stop investors from buying a residential house and making it a rental property. And unfortunately, 9 out of 10 times, it's not a family, it's a college rental that it turns into, which then generally means they're putting a lot of kids in the houses because the housing code, which is not good either, you need 70 square foot for one person in a bedroom, and then another few square foot for a second person, so they're able to multiply the number of people that they put in the rentals. They do have to register the rentals with the borough. We do have provisions, and we are stepping up this aspect. If a property becomes a problem rental property and the property's been cited, that the council's willing to begin having revocation hearings towards rental licenses. But for us to get to that point, as we've often said, is we need to create a public record. We need people to report, send the emails, call the administrator, so that we can document the ongoing problems. It sounds like you have enough of them, but we need a record for us to proceed to take someone's license. The problem with group homes are permitted use within residential zones. They don't have to ask permission. That's a group home, state licensed group type homes. They're permitted in a residential district. Not sure why, but Glassboro seems to be a spot for them to open up. There is a limitation, but it's a percentage of the population. I don't have it in front of me, but I can find out, but it would be a lot more properties than what we know exist within the borough, but I will check that again, the percentage. And then the sober living is a whole new creature of type of housing. In fact, the state of New Jersey was sued by an organization in federal court because they were discriminating, because the state was initially saying there were boarding houses because they're putting people in rooms to house them. They were sued in federal court. The state settled the lawsuit with this sober organization, and the way they resolved it was that they actually put these sober houses under the jurisdiction of the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs, and when they're properly licensed as a sober house, we get a letter from the DCA that says, Borough of Glassboro, this is now a sober home, send us your building permits and records. It's now under the jurisdiction of the DCA. You have no authority over the property as far as them being there, and that the only thing we're able to do, as the administrator mentioned, was have our fire inspectors spec the properties for fire safety violations. So, I mean, I'm just explaining the law, which is frustrating because that's what we're stuck with having to follow. But that's the environment that we're currently dealing with in Glassboro. And the law's been the law for a while. It just seems like we're under siege and attack in our neighborhoods.
Tim, can I ask you, our nuisance ordinance, this is group homes, does it apply to group homes? What I'm asking, what we've done the last 2 years is we've sent notices to every landlord in Glassboro and said, we're coming after you. So if your property falls under a nuisance property, we're coming after you and revoke your license, because really what was happening, if you're a landlord, what do you care if you get a $250 fine? You're making $3,500 a month. You're laughing at us. So I'll give you an example. We had a pop-up party on Dickinson Road. Okay? We filed charges against the landlord, filed criminal charges against the landlord, against the tenants, and we issued a final warning to him that if another pop-up party happens there, and his answer back was, I didn't know they were going to, it's not my problem that you don't know what's going on there. So I'm just telling you that because you know your problem. This is what we're trying to do now, go after the landlords and not as much as the tenants. We're trying to go after both. Like I said, we filed charges against both of them on the property on Dickinson, and if it happens again, you have my word as administrator, I will spend any reasonable amount to revoke his license.
Believe me, I will call you.
Okay.
I have no problem doing that.
Okay.
So
I want you to know that.
any of the neighbors can make that call?
Please.
If there's a problem with any of these homes?
Immediately.
You all should.
It's
Okay.
easy, for me, honestly, if you email me, I automatically have a record of it.
Okay.
To Tim's point, I don't care about the phone call, I'm not passing that off,
Right.
but I will automatically have a record of it. And I'll get a couple cards when I'm done, and I'll hand them out to everyone in here afterwards.
And what Ed does is then he forwards that email to the code enforcement department, to the police department.
And the DCA,
Yeah, if it's a
need
group
be.
home or one of
Yes.
those.
We will definitely do that.
Okay,
As a whole.
and I can't guarantee you anything will happen, but at least you will have an advocate in us where we will go to the DCA like we did on Overbrook, and we were relentless. I could show you the emails.
I'll make this last point. At 297 Glassboro, McClellan Avenue, at any given time, there are 9 different cars parked around that house. 9 different cars. That was a 4-bedroom house. and there are 9 cars parked there. You go there when you leave here, you just drive by, you'll see them. It's the
Right up to the
driveway,
corner.
excuse me, 9 different cars in that driveway at all times. So how you get 9 different people in a 4-bedroom house? Comfortably. That's a flop house. That's what that is. But just to let you know that, like I said, right in front of my house, 325 McClellan, the sober house. It's not a sober house.
Well, right now they're telling me there's only 2 tenants living in there.
Yeah,
Well,
go ahead. I actually spoke to them.
Do we have to keep, do we?
Oh, yeah, each person has to come
Each
up.
person has to come up, just, I'm sorry, yep.
Sorry.
We're here until you leave, so.
Yeah.
yeah, these are the tenants, and they're my neighbors, and they feel the same way I feel. You know,
So do we.
I found out, I started making calls, and when I first heard it, because it's getting to the point, like I said, I'm a 40-year resident in that block. Been there 40 years, never had an issue, and now all of a sudden, our whole area is being invaded.
Yep.
And it's constant, and just in that square block, there's 9 different these places in that square block. 9. That's ridiculous. And it's gonna get to a point where it's gonna be unsafe. And I'm gonna call you every 5 minutes if I have to. So, thank you for the time.
Yep.
And I appreciate it.
That's what's good.
I just wanted.
Up, come on up.
Okay.
Come on up.
Okay.
Come on up.
I'll just bring the little guy with me.
We wanna put this on the record. If you would identify yourself, please.
I'm Dana Rappa. I live at 321 McClellan, which is right next to 325.
Dana, you and I were having phone calls for a while.
So actually yesterday I had the opportunity to speak to someone who was moving into 325 McClellan. I said, "Oh, you moving in?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "College?" And he was like, "No, sober living." He said, "I'm the house manager." His name is Evan. I didn't get a last name. However, today somebody else was moving in, and he told me on Thursday the residents would be coming. He didn't specify how many residents, but I have this little guy here, and I have a 10-year-old daughter at home, and with the group home being there, it really wasn't that bad with the tenants that were there. It was more so the employees that worked there. They had people sneaking in and out of the house in the middle of the night, people coming and going, and you could smell the weed coming from their front porch. I have cameras on my back of my house and down my driveway to kind of just watch my vehicles and stuff, and you could see them coming and going constantly. I didn't feel necessarily terribly unsafe with them, but there used to be a fence in between my yard and 325. There was a windstorm, it took down 4 panels of the fence. I went over, I talked to an employee. I didn't know it was a group home at the time because it was still relatively new. The homeowner came, took the 4 fence panels, left the 2 back there, and never said a word, never came back, never anything. So now it's still in this situation where I have 2 fence panels that separate my yard from their yard. And we put up something temporary in the meantime, but I just feel like if they're going to have something like that, they should kind of be responsible for closing it off from my children. I think that's all I have. But yeah, I did speak to the gentleman yesterday.
Okay.
Now, that's contrary to everything, at least our records are reflecting as of today.
Yes.
Yeah, what we've
Yes.
been told by the landlord.
Well, he told me he was the house manager and that he had technicians that would also be there when he is not there. So I guess they would also be people who are employed by whatever they're doing. I know there's some connection to a rehab facility in Marlton called Full of Life Recovery Center.
And we did reach out to the DCA and ask them, to the state, if there was the sober, and they have no record of it either. So we will stay on top of it, yep.
Yes, I mean, it's directly next to my house, so I see it every day. I've seen them coming and going constantly.
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council. My name is Linda Miano, and I'm at 317 McClelland Avenue. I'm right next to her, and I've watched the shenanigans next to her house go on and on and on for an incredible amount of time. People come and go at all hours of the night. I'm woke up. I'm sure they're woke up. My mother lives across the street from me. Her house is directly in front of that other house on Overbrook, and they're always coming into her yard. 3 times today I saw them coming into my mother's yard to get something out of her yard, balls, whatever. They used to jump the fence. She told them not to do that. Cars, we cannot drive up and down McClelland Avenue anymore. The corner, 9 cars, yeah, but wait until the parties start because school's back. It's gonna be back in session. People moved into Glassboro like I did 20, 25 years ago because it was a family place. Now it's just become a place where it's a college place. You as the council people should be able to stop these houses. You guys give them the permits to build and redo the insides of these homes. That's not the state of New Jersey. That's here. That's Glassboro. You guys are giving them the permits, right?
All they're doing in these homes is taking family rooms and dining rooms and turning them into bedrooms.
Right, but isn't that, I beg your pardon, there's other aesthetic things that have gone on that had to be permits for these homes.
Those permits are from the construction department, just to make sure that any of the work is in conformance with the Uniform Construction Code. Not that I'm defending them, it's just legally, that's what those permits are, for them to make those alterations. That is handled under the Uniform Construction Code.
So it's fine for the residents, like the one that's down on the corner. There was a 4-bedroom house that was turned into, God knows how many apartments are in there. There was a mother-in-law suite in that house, so realistically it was a 5-bedroom home. I bet you now it's a 10-bedroom home because there are 9 cars parked out there. Something has to be done, guys. Really, something has to be done. The city of Glassboro is turning into one big college dorm or flop houses. And if that's what this council wants Glassboro to become, it should continue on this road. I don't know what you guys are doing. I've been here for a long time. I've been in these meetings many of times. I used to work in this building.
So just appreciate, we had on our rental property chapter from 1970 until the lawsuit. We had a provision that limited the number of vehicles that could be parked on a rental property, which was 1 vehicle per adult 18 years of age or older, and that was it. We were sued in 2011 by the landlords that now run these houses for college students. We fought that case for 7 years.
But you give them permits
No,
to
no,
park
no.
on the street.
No, I'm just talking about how we used to restrict cars parked on the streets, or how many cars could be parked in a house, and we were able to survive with that ordinance. And as money is driven people to want to be able to park, we were sued, and that portion of our rental chapter that limited the number of cars was ultimately determined by the court to be arbitrary and capricious, and that we could no longer enforce that provision. So as of 2018, it was now where we had no ability to limit the number of cars that could be parked on a rental property, and that was by a court, because we had a limitation that now the court said we can no longer have.
So you can have 20 cars parked in your driveway, that's fine, but what about the 9 that are on the street? Do they receive parking permits?
So you're only allowed, every property is allowed 1 parking permit, provided they can justify, they file an application. But there is an overnight parking application in the police department for people who want to park overnights.
Yeah, we have
overnight.
to use it as and I'm sure every one of us has used it. I've used it when I've had company. But what I'm asking is, why are these permits allowing 9 people to park on the street?
We do
At a
not.
corner.
Yeah, I would.
And why are the police
I agree
not
that
enforcing anything?
well, the question is why. I agree with why, because we're
Why
not
is
giving
the
them
police
permits.
department not enforcing giving these people tickets? I mean, if you guys want to stop it, help us. Get everybody on board. We can call you 1,000 times, but get the police out there giving them tickets Stop giving them permits when you know it's gonna be a rental property like this. I mean, come on, guys, help us.
So
You guys can help us more.
We did write 1,942 tickets for overnight parking
We'll
in
do
20.
2,000.
Well, we are. Well, we are
Yeah, it's
actually.
money for the
We
borough.
are. Actually, this year we're on pace to do closer to 2,400.
Good,
And
I'll
we-
help you write the tickets. Give me a pad and I'll
we-
write them.
I just don't want you to think like we're not doing it. We've added 4 additional police officers as well to do this. I don't want,
I know.
we are putting as much attention as we possibly can around this. We can, but to Tim's point, we go to court, we're as frustrated as you are, and we lose. So, I mean, we're writing more overnight tickets, we're writing more permit tickets, we're, yeah.
So in other words, we're screwed, we might as well lose.
No, we're not
move
giving
out
up
of
by it,
Glassboro.
no, we're not giving up, I can tell you
Well,
right
we're
now.
senior
Yeah.
citizens,
We
you
all
know,
live here
can't.
too, though.
Yeah.
We realize that we all live here in Glassboro too, and it could happen to any one of us in any street that we live on. Believe me, none of us up here wanna see what you're going through anywhere. I mean, that's never the objective. We are working hard to try and combat this, but there's a lot of intricacies that even I didn't realize legally and otherwise, so just know.
Well, I thank you guys
we do have your back.
Just by example, just to tell you how we're trying to be preemptive, we just became aware of another possible pop-up party somewheres in Glassboro. Administrator got a group together, and there's a lawyer right now preparing pleadings to go into court tomorrow to bring this person in to try to stop whatever it is they're trying to do to disrupt our community. So we're even moving in that direction of going to the court to stop people from having parties.
We're preemptive charges, aren't we?
Yes.
We're trying to file preemptive charges. I didn't mean to cut you off,
No.
I'm sorry.
No.
But we're trying to create a perception, and you'll see on Roland Boulevard, and you'll see on the Ridge and other neighborhoods, Captain McCain's out there, we have a community response unit where the community response unit works from 5 in the evening to 3 in the morning to try to combat this. This is a brand new unit that we have. Listen, I get it, I mean, I live in a downtown too. I get it, we can never do enough, but I just don't want you all leaving here thinking we're not, we're gonna leave here and forget all about it. We could show you everything we're doing, and we gotta do more.
Well, we hear about people on the Ridge too, because I have friends who live up on the Ridge, and that's a nightmare and a half. I mean, there's trash all over the place on a constant basis, so,
Yep.
what can you do?
Yeah.
Can we march on Trenton? I mean, really.
Again, I think the best instrument we have right now is this nuisance property ordinance that we have. That's why I'd asked that you send it to me. We then will go after the landlords to try to revoke their license for that property. That's I think is our best ammunition right now. And again, that's why I asked you to email me when you see this problem. And I will come back every meeting. There's a place for mayor's comments. I will give it to him, and I will tell you what we did. So you're gonna hold me accountable.
Well, I don't just hold you accountable, I hold the council accountable.
Oh,
That's what
when I say I have no authority, these are my bosses. Yes, oh yeah.
I don't hold one person responsible,
Yep.
I hold the council responsible for what's happening in Glassboro.
Yep.
And I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening, my name's Rich Betancourt, I live at 304 Ronald Avenue, which is next street over from all the problems on McCullen. In conjunction with what they were talking about with the house on the corner with the nine cars parked there all the time, we drove by, none of them have permits in their window. So you're not even, if they do have permits to park there, they're not displaying them. So we get back to, where's the police ticketing them? Right, and they're parked right from the very corner, all the way around that curve, which is dangerous for people traveling there. There's also, if I'm not mistaken, there was a bus stop right on that corner last year. Now, I don't know if they're gonna have another school bus stop there this year or not, but Now, that's something else. These cars parked there, the school bus coming around, the way people travel down, up and down Alfred Avenue, it's dangerous. And something's gotta be done with that incident there. I mean, there's no permit being displayed.
So that's 297 McCullen, right?
It's 297.
And I already see the officer making notes on his pad over there, and I know we will, now that we know and you brought this particular one to our
I've
attention.
driven by, my wife has driven by, and I've been riding shotgun, and I looked at the windows where it's supposed to have a sticker
Correct.
displayed that you have a parking permit, cause she has one for her car. Which brings up another point. We've seen a car parked in front of our house. Don't know who it was or anything else. We caught the driver, or we didn't catch the driver, talked to the driver. And he says, well, he's called in too many times, so he has to go and park his car somewhere else and call in that address. So he's using my address so he could park on in front of my house, where he's going to who knows where, to some other house. So there's a problem there. Another problem in the same area, dealing with traffic, the corner of Fish Pond and Baldwin. You got two houses on the corner. Right now, one is mostly empty. They're able to park in the driveway. That ain't a problem. But during the school season, there's cars parked from the very stop sign all the way back to the second house. There's also cars parked in the driveway. Across the street, same thing. They have their driveway is full. They have cars parked all the way up to their driveway, which is right on the corner. I don't know who the heck ever designed that house, but whoever thought about putting the driveway exiting on the corner of two streets. That's a little stupid, but I'm getting off the point. They parked there. I've come up to have a problem where cars are backed up. Nobody can get out because Fish Pond has the right of way, so we gotta stop. And they're trying to turn in, they can't turn in because there's only one lane in the middle. Where do people wanna go? And you got one person that's stubborn, he's not gonna back up to let everybody else back up to let the people drive in. So I mean, you got a problem there, cause I'd say at least 5 problems here myself. One, I almost got rear-ended coming off of Fish Pond. I'm coming down, when I get to Moldorf, when I pass Moldorf, I put on my turn signal so the people behind me know that I'm gonna make a right turn. I get to the corner, this car's parked there. Right? I can't turn in because they're waiting for me because I have the right of way. I wanna turn in. I almost get rear-ended. Like I said, this has happened to me a few times. And I know it's happened to other people. Something's gotta be done with that, whether they go and paint the curb so the people have to move back away from the corner. I mean, I'm sure you can paint them yellow or red or whatever the code is for not parking there. Make those people move away from the corner. Give us a chance to turn into the street or turn out of the street without getting rear-ended or getting nailed from the front end.
The cars on 297, are they there every night?
Yes. Every day.
They're there at night too.
Right.
So they'll be there tonight?
Well, they'll be there tonight. Unless they get word that we're complaining about them, they're gonna go and hide somewhere.
Good.
Every night, there's, from the corner of Alfred all the way around the curve, they're parked there. I mean, something's gotta be done with, those are 2 instances right there that's gonna cause an accident, either an injury or a death, one or the other. Something's gotta be done. I don't know what the rules are, what the laws are, and anything else, but I'm sure you people can come up with something to try to help us with that. Thank you.
Yep.
Hi, my name is Jeff Downing, 305 McClellan. Slightly different tangent here. What is the situation in terms of monitoring the physical condition of some of these college houses? I'm talking specifically about cutting the lawns, trimming the weeds. 297 McClellan has been an eyesore off and on for months. There's weeds as tall as me in the flower beds. The dandelions have been a foot high on the lawn. There's weeds a foot high in a little crack where the macadam hits the concrete curb. Weeds growing out between the gravel and the driveway. It's a total eyesore. It wasn't like that.
Is it like Will it be like that tomorrow?
I think they've cut it recently, but
Okay.
it's been bad.
Okay. And the only reason I asked is because I would send someone out there.
Yeah, now is there some kind of process to have these places inspected
Yeah,
or
you
a
gotta
code
let me,
officer or something?
let me know, and I'll
Okay.
get someone out there.
Yeah.
I will get someone out there.
I wouldn't swear to how it is right this second, but it's been bad, cause I take a walk every morning around.
I'll have
the
someone take
neighborhood.
a look at it just in case tomorrow anyway. Yep.
Yeah, and is that portable garage and then the driveway legal, that framework
I
thing
don't-
with a
I
white
don't-
tarpaulin over it?
I don't know, I'd have to have someone see it and see if there was a permit or what, I don't know. I'd be lying to you if I told you whether I knew right now,
Alright,
okay?
but, a look-see on some of the lawns in these places would be nice.
Yep, you got it.
Alright, thank you.
Yep.
Any other members of the public wish to speak this evening?
I'll get to you. My name is Doug Trans, I live at 337 McClellan Avenue, so I'm right next to 333, which is a group home. Really haven't had that many problems. There was one time when my kids were little, they had a 6-foot something person living there, and came over, talked to me and my daughter about wanting a knife. They got him out pretty soon after that. That's where I talked to him about it. Now we have someone in there who's working there, and I know that marijuana is legal for certain reasons. I don't know about workers there being able to do that or not, but they are. So we have that going on. That's nice odor. Is there any ordinance? I know that people in other communities, I come from the shore area, they try and limit the amount of low-income housing, and they do get it through sometimes, but is there anything about that with these college homes or group homes? Because we really are being taken over by these homes in these few blocks in that area. They forgot to mention next to that 291, right? 291 is it? 297. Caddy corner, the next corner over is another home that is being rented out to college students. That's another one, so there's 10. So I don't know if there's any kind of ordinance or anything that you guys can pass that could limit these homes, but being a parent in the district, school registration enrollment is going down. I mean, we sold the intermediate school probably for various reasons, but I know enrollment's going down. This could be one of the reasons why.
It is.
Oh, no,
You're telling homes are being sold to developers or the state or wherever, but family can't move in. So the school district's going down, enrollment wise. That's probably one of the reasons why.
But it's the number one reason why.
So what can we do?
Well,
I mean, the legal answer is, group homes are a statutory creature of the state of New Jersey. They're permitted in the municipal land use laws. They don't have any requirements. Again, I'll look into the percentage, but I'm afraid because we have like 20-some thousand people, it's gonna be a big number. And then, the bad answer is a residential house, you can't restrict rentals you can't say college kids can't rent houses, just like you can't say drug lords can't rent houses. I mean, a house can be rented if it's in a residential neighborhood.
For me as a resident, and then we cut you
Yeah.
off, but I can locate, I have something that I can retire on and have income still, because I'll rent my home out. Why not?
Yep.
But it's not good for the community, is it?
No, it isn't.
Nope.
No, it isn't.
All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other members of the public that would like to speak?
Seeing no others, I make a motion to close the public portion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Have a motion to approve all bills?
Move that all duly authorized bills be paid. Second.
Any abstentions?
Yes, extensions of 23-03317, 02797, 03051, 03199, and 03298.
And I have an extension on PO number 23-03217. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's been moved in second, and all in favor. Now we will have closing comments from our mayor. I'm the fill-in mayor tonight, but, I really appreciate your patience, and everything that has been said tonight, we will truly take that into account. And sometimes when you see those cars parked at the curve like that, make a call to our police department, because they're not everywhere all the time, but if they don't know about it, they can't correct it. So don't hesitate to contact us, so that we can help make your living environment a little better. And now I'll turn it over to our administrator.
I said enough, now it's good.
Okay, can I have a motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, our next regularly scheduled meeting will be September the 12th. So have a wonderful, safe Labor Day. Thank you.
Good job, man. Good job for the first time.